Hello everyone, this is a brief introduction. The video you're about to watch was a live stream that I recorded and I now cut into different sections, the highlights, the things I like the most. It's an unboxing and just a basic overview of the scene. There's no playing in chapter 1, believe it or not. But what I want to stress out is that the PlayStation 2 got, over the years, different firmware updates with so many super cool functions that are actually in different chapters. Head over to my Patreon. Yes, you have to pay for it, but it's just amazing content. And we're going to cover AFX mode. We're going to cover the detuning of the sub-oscillator, paraphonic mode, the repeating envelopes with the actual number of repeats that you can set. There's so many things, I can't even list them all, which make the PlayStation 2 insane. So what's on the surface is going to be on this chapter, but see you in Patreon. Let's go. What we're going to do today is the unboxing of this thing. So the PlayStation 2 has arrived and Novation, the good folks at Novation just sent me one. I'm looking forward to use this as a master keyboard as well, because this thing kicks major behind in terms of bass, because the name kind of gives it out, but also in terms of controls and how it feels, the keypad. I have another master keyboard, which is the KeyStep, which I love for what it does. But there's one thing that is a major gripe for me, and it's the lack of a physical pitch wheel and a modulation wheel. So these two things, call me old school, I don't know. I really need to have a wheel, or last case scenario, like worst case, a joystick. I can live with a joystick as well. 2D, 1D, whatever. But the wheels are the best. I'm used to wheels. I drive cars, so, I don't drive joysticks, although I do have joysticks. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna unbox this. And the box is really nice, obviously, as you can tell. I can't really manipulate this a lot because that's what it is. Let me put it here, right. All right, passes through the mic. So this is the PlayStation, obviously. Now, this comes directly from Novation. These folks are the friendliest people on earth. I had such a good time at Superbooth this year with them. This was being used to also control peaks, Novation peaks. That were available at the booths. So it was really nice. And it felt like a good controller as well. So this is the one we need. There's nothing else in here. We'll lift this. How do people survive unboxing videos? There's so much stress of things that can fall. And I'm gonna leave it tilted like this. Manual, stop, need help getting started. I think these are all. This wasn't open, this is mint. All right. There's patches with its names. There's a manual. I'm gonna put it here where you can't see it. I'm gonna drop this guy here. This guy here. All right. Nice plastic envelope. All right. So the size of this keyboard is more than manageable. And the keys are really good. In my opinion, these are really good. They're full-sized, it's just 2 octaves, but you have at least how could I say that? You have at least the feeling of being in full control of the keyboard itself, right? So that's the unboxing. That's the keyboard. That's the amp and everything else. Right. Let me go here. Now, what about the outputs of these? We've got, hold on. Also the back is really nice. I love this. Headphones, line out, mono. Love this. External in, love this as well. Sustain pedal, MIDI in and out, out and in actually. USB, external DC off or USB. This is really nice. You can power it off USB or external DC. And it needs, it says, about 300 milliamps. So if you have a 300 milliamps 9 volts DC, you can use that one probably instead of the other one. But what they give you is a 500. So obviously redundancy is nice. What else? Well, this is good. Two things are really nice. The output is mono because it's called base station. It's not called pad station. External in, MIDI. There's no CV out, but the MIDI is nice. USB. You can power it off. It's power supply or USB, which is what I'm gonna do. And this is nice. Now the question for me is, can I fit these here? Matter of fact, I kinda can. Not for the stream itself, which is really nice. Quick overview of this thing without having sound. 2 octaves, full-sized keys. To me, they feel really nice. I have no idea if they're fatter, whatever you want to call it. Fatter. Keyboards, they feel really nice. They're full size. And real wheels with light. Octaves on top, pretty common. Master volume with pitch and patch selector. Oscillator section. Mixer. Filter. Arpeggiator. Glide. LFOs. Envelopes. Effects. Yes! Effects as well. The controls here you do through, there's mod wheel to filter frac, and that's the function thing. This little knob here does function. So it's filter, these are the assignments for the mod wheel, the aftertouch, the LFOs destinations, I think, the oscillator settings, velocities, VCA, if you want a limiter or not. This is kind of cool. People don't really know this stuff. The swing of the ARP, the retriggering of the sequencer, the input gain, the tuning, the local channel, the MIDI channel he uses, and the dump. So the frequency knob feels really nice. Like this is, it's got some nice resistance here. Volume 2. Let's give the knobs a rating. So far they're 8/10. Chorus, fine. All right, so they did it for all of them. So the knobs have a very nice resistance to them. I like this. The switches are nice. Switches are nice. I would give these switches 7. I was gonna say 6. I mean, they do the job. They're very light. And okay, just make sure you don't end up in the middle. How about these faders? All right, the faders are nice. Probably a 7. All right. But the knobs, man, the knobs are really good. And the mod wheel and pitch are 100% real. Like they're keyboard. Nice. Nice. What I like about this is that the arpeggiator does the ARP octaves like a sequence. It records what you do and then it can play. So this is just not an arpeggiator. This is actually a sequence player with tempo that you set, which I think you can actually, can you edit the value of the tempo here? You can go really, really, really nice. Okay, transpose is 0. Function, we don't do it. Because you see play and record and sequence are in contrasted settings. They are black over white. So these two functions refer to sequence 1, 2, 3, 4 once you're in record. Okay. So that's the thing. That's the arpeggiator setting. I think we got that. I just want to spend 2 seconds saying this thing. This could be bigger, but it wouldn't be as convenient as this keyboard is. So what they did is they have 2 oscillators, 1 and 2, and these controls actually influence both oscillators. So if you set something here for 1 and you move to 2, Unfortunately, the settings will not be what you see because the knobs are not motorized. So you go to 2 and you have to catch the value and do your movement and stuff. And then once you're set, you're set. Here, you can also sync 1 and 2, which I think is done to this function here. We said the syncing, you see it turns on, right? On or off. So you can sync both oscillators. You can sync 1 and 2. The same thing happens for LFO 1 and 2 if you want to set speed or delay. So this keyboard pretty much, I'm just going to tell you, apart for the mixer and probably the filter, it uses these levers to assign the same knobs to different things, most notably the oscillators. So you got oscillator 1, oscillator 2, the whole section shifts according to what you see. Some people find these dreadful because you can't really see what oscillator 2 is set at, but this is just to save space. So you got 1 octave down, 2 octaves down for the sub os, and you can probably, yes, you can select whether you want pulse, square, or sine. There's the sub oscillator just has this mixer thing, so that's external. There's ring modulator, noise. This is nice. So the 4th knob is handled by this thing: external, input, ring, noise. So this is gonna process this. Oscillator 1, 2, sub os gets mixed. Everything gets mixed together, goes to the filter. You got classic or acid. I love this. And it's amazing that I'm doing this without playing it, just because I have to take a look at what it does before we venture into it. 1224 dB per octave, and LP, BP, bandpass, and high pass. So you can do all 3. Overdrive, yes ma'am, overdrive. I don't know why I'm doing this with this mood today. It's like what? LA ghetto kind of style. So resonance, overdrive, LFO 2 depth, which is gonna handle the mod amp depth. And I mean, the 2 things are handling the frequency. So modulation envelope depth, LFO 2 depth, and then the frequency, which is the cutoff. Personally, I love it here. You can play like this, obviously, you know. If you do phrases with your right hand, that's fine. I know people, I mean, I'm left-handed, but I know people who could do amazing bass patterns, you know, on left hand. It's just different than this. And then you have your right hand here. I find these really useful, because it's on the extreme. You can't really touch this. And then there's distortion and oscillator filter modulation. So there's no actual reverb here. The envelopes is threefold. Amp envelope, middle position is modulation envelope, and this is amp plus modulation envelope. You can select the triggering, where you want auto glide, not astro glide, single and multi. And then you decide this. Again, this is shared. So if you move to mod amp and move this, now the amp is on different values. So it might need a little bit to get used to, because you set things like this, but then you go to amp, you don't particularly know whether they're like these or not. You can't really see it. The glide time, the LFO shapes for 1 and 2, and then delay and speed, right? So this tells you if it's increasing or decreasing, and the lights are synced, which I really love. This is really cool. The glide time, the arpeggiator we saw, tempo, rhythm. It's got, I have an idea, but probably we'll see. Up, down, up and down 2, played, random, play, record. That's really nice. I would like to spend 2 words on why this video is possible. It happens because of my patrons. I have a Patreon in which I teach songwriting, scoring for video games and writing soundtracks, being creative, exploring hardware synthesizers, analog outboard, virtual instruments, sample libraries, mixing and mastering. We talk about recording. There's a lot of cool people in there. Check my Patreon out if you would like to support me. It really means a lot to me, and it makes these videos and the future ones possible. So thank you very much. Also, I'm wearing shorts, so things are gotta be really important. You know, I hated to wear shorts when I was a kid. My parents wanted me to do it, but I would never. I was probably shy. I was a little bit bulkier than I am now, so I was not really a fat kid, but kind of bulkier. Not like chunk, but you know, a little bit. And I probably was shy to put shorts on for some reason. So my parents said like, "Oh, you never wanted to put shorts on, and now you do it all the time." Yeah, it's a story.